Oh, yeah. Hello there, ladies and germs, and welcome once again to Sports Chat. It's December 7th, and we have some good
Yes,
news.
we do.
Where'd you get that hat? How'd you get it back?
It's been here the whole time.
I thought I burned it.
I have many, many hats.
So, why is it back now?
Because today we're celebrating. We're celebrating the Celtics and the NBA being back in action.
You know what? I can deal with that.
Yep.
I can handle it.
Can't complain about this
I can
hat.
support that because the NBA. Well, no, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They're back.
Hot damn.
They're
Wait a moment. If I remember correctly, we had a bet. And Tim Tebow did not. He won 2 games. He won 2 games, so there are no more hats allowed on the show. No more hats allowed.
You, my friend,
Yes.
misled me.
I didn't mislead you.
You did.
I told you Tim Tebow would win the next 2 games.
You
and he
told me
won the
Tim
next-
Tebow was playing the Patriots within the next 2 games, and I took you at your word.
I didn't
Had-
say he was.
had-
I just
you
said
said-
he might be.
Had I known that he was playing the lowly Minnesota Vikings, I would not have taken that bet.
Oh,
I could beat the Minnesota Vikings.
well,
Christian Ponder, please,
but I mean,
please,
please what?
please stop making me take my hats off.
Well, all right.
This is what we do. We go double or nothing.
I don't really understand how we could go double or nothing.
Well,
But I'll give you this. How's this? We'll reconfigure the bet.
double or nothing.
Yep, that's what we'll call it.
2 hats.
What we'll do is this.
I'm listening.
If Tim Tebow wins the next 2 games, which in fact does include the Patriots game, if he wins those 2 games, no more hats. All right?
Okay. But
If I am wrong and Tim Tebow loses
yes,
one of those games,
just one of them.
yep,
Doesn't have
just
to be
one.
both of them.
If he loses to Chicago or New England, then the very next show is all yours. You can do whatever you want for the show.
I'm in charge.
I follow your lead, and you
Do
are
I
in
get to
charge.
write these things?
Yep. You
So
get
we
to
talk
do,
about whatever topics I want.
anything you want.
I get to
You're-
run the whole show.
Yes.
I can have special guests
Yep.
and wear hats. And make you wear hats if I'm in charge.
Yep.
And make the special guest wear hats.
Yep. You can. It's all yours
Can I make the table wear a hat?
if you can figure that out.
Can we paint the table a different color?
We could. That would be a lot of work and probably not good TV, but sure.
I don't mean, no, we don't have to paint it on TV.
Oh, all right.
I mean, just change the color of the table.
Sure, if that's what floats your boat.
Can I put my name in the lights behind us? Can we kill
It's-
someone?
I'm not sure we can delve into illegal activities, but anything that is legal, which you like to do, we can do. How's that?
Anything that is legal that I like to do, we can do. Oh boy.
Anything.
And the Patriots will beat the Broncos.
We'll see, because Tim Tebow's still on a roll.
Yeah, well,
All he does is win football games
all he does is stand there,
and win football games.
thanks to his defense.
Whatever. Hey, the defense doesn't drive down the field at the end of the game,
Well,
do they?
defense scored 14 points last game.
Ah. Anyways, now let's let's jump back into the NBA. All right.
All right.
The good news. All right. Anyways, the NBA finally has come back to a local city near you. It's the beginning of December, and that means Christmas, and I've gotten the best Christmas gift that I could ever get, and that's the NBA coming back on Christmas. Christmas Day there are games slated all day long, and that means
Oh,
NBA.
can I add to that?
Sure, go right ahead.
Christmas is on a
Is what do you mean?
day of the week,
Sunday,
which means there's also,
football.
yeah. Continue.
Anywho, well, Christmas Day, there will be tons of basketball, including the early game being our very own Boston Celtics taking on the New York Knicks in the Big Apple. Carmelo and Chauncey and the gang, and it's actually the last team they beat in the playoffs because they couldn't beat the Heat. Womp womp.
But
Sad trombone.
that's right. The Mavs beat the Heat.
That's true.
Anybody but LeBron.
And so the NBA will be back, which is exciting, but it's going to be a 62-game season. We've lost 20 games. But hey, basketball is basketball to me. I don't care. So the season's back, but the scheduling gods may have not been great to the Celtics.
Scheduling gods weren't exactly great to any team. I mean, when you have to pack 66 games into 2.5 weeks,
Yeah.
doesn't always turn out best. Every team in the league is gonna have to play a back-to-back-to-back. That's
Yes.
3 games in 3 nights.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like baseball, is what it sounds like.
You're right.
But
Good call.
the Celtics have a very, very hard schedule. And if you take a look at their schedule, their first game against Miami is at Miami on December 27th.
Second game of the season.
It is. The Lakers come to Boston on February 9th. That's notable. Celtics-Lakers. The Mavs come to Boston on January 11th, and I think we should get tickets. Just saying. And also, Perk comes to play at the Garden against his old team, and that's on
I
January 16th.
hope he comes back and just gives Danny Ainge a stiff punch right in the face.
That's what I would do.
Side note, did you know that Danny Ainge actually was trying to trade Rajon Rondo
Yes.
and Jeff Green for Westbrook and Perkins to
Yes.
get Perkins back
Yeah.
just after the season
Does it
ended?
surprise you, really?
No, but
mean-
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I think it was pretty obvious to anyone involved and anyone watching that it was a huge loss not having Perk around.
Yep.
Yep. Could be the reason we didn't beat the Heat.
Yep.
But let's
That's neither here nor there.
it's
gone now.
here nor there nor anywhere because the NBA is back.
But there's a very notable game that isn't on our paper
Where is it?
that is very notable. On February 15th, the Boston Celtics will be playing the Detroit Pistons.
Why
But
is
more
that
importantly, it'll be February 15th, which is my birthday. Which means finally there'll be Celtics basketball on my birthday again in the Garden. So I'll probably be there.
Here's a
Front
question.
row. Just keep your eyes peeled for me, the wild guy in the front row. That'll be me. That'll be me.
So,
The streaker, maybe, perhaps. Go
question.
on. Answer.
How are they going to do the All-Star break? Is that going to happen?
I don't know.
That just dawned on me.
It'll be tough to squeeze in.
Yeah. Maybe they can pull in NFL and do it after the season.
Yeah, right before the finals.
Yeah.
They'll just throw in a quick game.
Yep.
And anyone who's involved in the finals can't play.
And they'll grab a couple WNBA players, make them think they can play basketball for a night.
Hey, Candace Parker.
1,
And there's one more. Maya Moore.
2. Name one more. That's not going to happen. But anyway,
But those two.
they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. Back to the Celtics schedule. The Celtics are an old team. This surprises no one. They have wily old vets, but they get tired quick. They've been in the league for a long time. And this shortened schedule, my first thought in my head when I heard it was only going to be half a season was, wow, this could really help the Celtics out. It's
Sure.
only going to be half a season. They're not going to be as tired at the end. Their knees won't hurt. Their elbows won't hurt. But turns out they're playing so many back-to-back games that, I think their oldness, their seniority is going to hurt them
Yeah.
because it's not easy for 72-year-olds to go out and play a back-to-back-to-back game like the Celtics
It is
will have
not.
to.
And last I checked, you're not allowed to play with a walker.
No,
So,
Unless you're Antoine.
Problems could arise.
unless you're
from that.
Antoine.
True.
Played with one on his jersey.
It's true.
Antoine Walker.
Yes. The Walker Wiggle.
Yes.
But The NBA's back. Yeah, that's all good. But
Ha,
unfortunately,
ha. I'm going to steal your topic. I just looked at this and it says Bruins finally lost. I thought it said Brian finally lost. I got excited.
well, I don't lose. So, fact of the matter is that wouldn't say that.
Except this Tebow bet.
Right. Like how I was going to lose the last Tebow bet. But,
Well,
yep.
you cheated.
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to
Anywho.
run the show.
Anywho,
Brian finally lost.
the Bruins, as we know, were 14-0-1 since the start of November, which was I can't find a word to describe it. How does that happen? How does a team get? It was unbelievable. An unbelievable tear.
It would have been unbelievable even if they started the season well, but they started the season like absolute crap.
Yeah.
And then they came back and decided, well, you know what, enough with that. We're just going to go ahead and not lose for 15 games straight, and the month of November will be ours.
Right. And they owned November. Did not lose a game in regulation in November. And here we are. They won. They beat Pittsburgh, which was the only team that was really. That was their challenge. That was who they had to beat to prove that they were who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook.
And but then the next night, they let the Winnipeg Jets off the hook, and ended up losing finally.
Yeah. I mean, they had to lose eventually.
Yeah. We knew it was coming. We knew it would happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a great streak.
What I'm interested to see is how they bounce back from the loss. Because when you win that many in a low, when you win that many in a low, a Ross like that could be crushing.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
I'm sticking with it.
But over that streak, just a couple of notes is that they went from the cellar to the second best team in the Eastern Conference as far as wins, loss, points go. And also, Tim Thomas, in that win over Pittsburgh, their last win, he won his 10th consecutive game in a row, which is a career high for him. And he had 45 saves in that game. So just a little note that fun fact about their streak and how impressive it really was. And another quick note about their loss. Tyler Seguin was a late scratch for missing a team meeting.
Yes.
And
He
not only
overslept.
did you mess up your team there, you kind of messed up my fantasy team because I guess you're on my fantasy team and you didn't help me at all. Just a note, personal note to you, Tyler. That's all. That is all. But let's jump in and Foxborough.
Yeah. Talking about another team that's on cruise control right now. The New England Patriots had the 0-11 Colts come to town last Sunday.
Essentially a bye week.
Basically.
Right.
But, I mean, Patriots went out to play, and they did just that. They beat the Colts. The Patriots now sit atop the Eastern Conference at 9-3. And it's the same old story with the Patriots again. Even against the lowly Colts, the offense was there. It clicked. It was great. They did what they had to do. Even Ocho Cinco caught a pass.
Yeah.
Dropped one, too, but he caught one.
That's all right.
Yeah, you take what you
The
can
one
get.
he dropped, a lot of receivers could have dropped that. It was decent defense, too. It got punched out.
You're right.
So,
Yeah.
it would have been a spectacular catch if he made it.
You're absolutely right.
whatever.
But the same low spots, too. Their defense still looks awful. Yeah, and people have been saying that they're starting to improve. I don't think so. I just think the competition is getting less and less tough as the season goes on. And the 0-11 Colts, who are now the 0-12 Colts, is a perfect example of that.
Right.
And it looked like the Patriots defense were going to handle them a little bit. They were giving up yards but not points. But then at the end of the game, 2 quick touchdowns to Pierre Garçon, and all of a sudden we're right back where we started.
Something that really stands out to me was the fact that they gave up 362 net yards, whatever. The Patriots have been giving up yards all year. And basically what we've come to know as the Patriots defense is bend but don't break. So that's what they do. They give up yards, but they don't give up points. But then you look at Dan Orlovsky.
Who?
Dan Orlovsky.
No, I heard you. Who?
Right.
Yeah.
He was the quarterback of the 0-16 Detroit Lions.
Yes. Yes, he was.
Let's just keep that one in mind.
Imagine that resume.
And, oh, yeah.
Whew.
And now he's jumping
Getting the
in.
big bucks next year.
Going to run the ship of the 0-11 Colts, the now 0-12 Colts.
Yep.
But he completed 30 of his 37 pass attempts. That right there,
That's just poor.
30 of his 37 pass attempts were completed. for 353 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Honestly, if you took away the pick that he threw, his numbers were better than Tom Brady's.
Yes.
No exaggeration.
Yes,
They
they
literally
were.
were better than Tom Brady's for
Right.
that game.
Dan Orlovsky. I assure you, by season's end, we will never hear this name again.
No. He won't
Unless
be,
referring to this crazy game where
he will no longer be welcomed in the league if this
No.
Colts team doesn't win a game.
No, I don't think he should be.
No.
But Dan Orlovsky
Yep.
kind of tore apart the Patriots
Yeah.
defense late. And granted, yeah, it's
Garbage time, but I mean, Bill Belichick defense there's no such thing as garbage time.
Right.
You get on the
Bill
field
Belichick team,
and
there's
you
no such thing
play.
as garbage
Yeah,
time.
exactly. You get on the field and you play. When the clock runs out, then you can celebrate. But until
Right.
it runs out, you are on the field and you're playing your butt off. And
Right.
clearly they do that, and it's just not enough.
And we'll argue my next point later.
Okay.
But let's get into the chat room and talk about the chances of our Celtics as the season is back and it's 2011, the 2011-2012 season. What kind of shot do they have to get to an NBA championship, maybe win one,
Shot in the dark.
whatever? So we wanted to know what you guys thought, so we asked. And our good old pal, Paul, once again, this Paul character, he's all over the place.
He's got the best answer.
He answered us, and Paul says, like Frosted Flakes, they're great. Well,
That's
it's ambitious.
not very insightful.
No,
Who's great?
I would assume the Celtics, or maybe their chances are great.
Maybe that's what he meant. That's
Probably.
probably what he meant.
Yeah, that's probably what Paul meant.
Yeah. Paul's wrong.
Yes, Paul's very wrong.
Yeah.
But
But it was an exciting answer.
see, my thing is, like we already talked about before, they have 19 back-to-backs. That's a problem.
Yes.
That's an issue. Because as we know, since the Big Three came together, back-to-backs haven't been their strong point.
No.
They generally lose the second of the back-to-back, and if they lost the first, then there's no chance they're even.
Yeah,
Then it's 2 losses.
Yeah.
Count it as 2 losses. That is what it is.
Yeah, and 19.
And I just feel like Shaq retired, and Kendrick Perkins is now playing for Oklahoma City, and Nenad Kristich, who was your starting center or your interior guy, is now playing in Russia or
And
wherever
boy,
he
he
is.
was great, huh?
So, where's your interior presence?
It's just non-existent.
KG, I'm sorry.
Non-existent.
Even when KG was younger, he's not a big body that's going to toss people around. Is he a tough, good post player? Yeah.
Yo.
But
But he's not the big presence in the middle.
No.
He's just not. He never
And-
has been, even
and
in his prime. That's not
they
what he
need.
does.
They lack it.
Yep.
They're lacking it.
Yes.
And, they have tough competition now. It's not all West anymore.
No.
The East has stacked
The
up.
East is strong.
Miami, Chicago, Orlando, and New York.
Atlanta.
All tough. Atlanta as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And, Orlando I'm kind of on, but they're always there. They're always
Yeah, we'll see how the
kind
rest
of
of the offseason
kind of a knife
plays
stuck
out
in the
with them.
side.
Yeah.
But, and Miami and Chicago, they're younger teams. They're more talented. They can take the
They're-
Celtics up and down the floor.
They're both scary.
It's tough. It's tough. And I don't know if their chances are great.
Right.
I think, obviously, they're a good team with a lot of talent.
Right.
And depending on who they add, maybe they have a better chance. But I just can't see this Celtics team as it stands, and as it pains me to say, I see them as maybe 4th seed going
Yeah.
into the playoffs.
Yep.
At 3rd or 4th seed
And
at best.
with talent like that, once you get in, who knows? But I would say their chances are slim to none at actually going all the way. They'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But as far as winning an NBA title, it's
Not happening.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So, anyway, the next question that we decided to ask you was, what do the Celtics need during this shortened offseason? And the Celtics have 6 guys under contract. They have the big 4, Rondo, Pierce, KG, Ray Allen, Jermaine O'Neal, and Avery Bradley.
Who?
Avery Bradley?
Is he related to Dan Orlovsky? Because he's
They,
a virtual nobody to me.
reside in the same place.
Exactly.
So anyway, we asked, what do you think the Celtics need to do? And the answer that we got
Came from,
came from our friend Paul.
once again, Paul's back again.
And Paul believes Larry Legend.
That's Larry Bird.
That is. He's probably right. Although that would just add more age to the team.
But it's Larry Legend. He's a legend.
That's true.
I'm sure.
Legends never die.
And if I know anything about Larry Bird, he could be 106 and still come out and try to fight someone.
Probably.
And battle.
Probably hit a couple threes too.
Oh, yeah. He'd drain him.
Yep.
Drain him, no problem. But the fact of the matter is, presumably, Glenn Davis and Jeff Green will be back.
Yeah, you would think
You
so.
assume.
Mm-hmm.
And there were reports that Grant Hill is interested. The Celtics are on his short list. Same with Shane Battier, which I would like Shane Battier.
Shane Battier is a good player.
I would really like
Yeah.
it, especially with the way they want to play defense. I
Yeah.
think he's a very solid.
He
he's
would be
kind
a
of
strong player
James
coming off the
Posey-esque.
bench. Yes.
I think he would be
Yeah.
James Posey-esque. And I think that I would love Shane Battier. I would love that.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can reel him in maybe for short money for this year and maybe
Yeah.
keep him around for a little
Yep.
while because I would love to have him on this roster.
So would I.
But the big story, Rondo.
Yeah. It looks like, or it doesn't look like, it's confirmed the Celtics they're not exactly shopping him around, but they're open to trading him if the right deal comes into town. Chris Paul.
Right.
That would be a great trade.
Yes.
The Celtics that would be great for them.
There's one thing that drives me insane about this trade is the unfortunate love affair that people have with Rajon Rondo in the city of Boston. And granted, I want to go on the record as having said when Rondo was a rookie, I said, keep this kid around. He's going to be very good. He's going to be great.
He did.
And I want him to stay around.
I heard him.
But, and I for one, love Rondo. I think he's a very good point guard. He's a point guard in how you would like your point guard to be. He does what you want your point guard to do. But
Except one thing.
Right. The fact of the matter is, he's got one more year where he's going to be successful to the degree that he's been successful unless he figures out how to shoot.
Right.
Because when the big three are gone or when the big three are not what the big three were, people are just they're going to leave him to
Rondo,
win games, and he can't.
He's a great point guard. He's smart. He knows what to do with the ball. He knows where to be on the floor, and he knows how to run the game. But without the ability to score, if he doesn't have a good team around him, those skills aren't as desirable.
No.
And which isn't exactly a knock on Rondo. I mean, he has the skills. They're there.
Right.
The only knock on him is the fact that he can't shoot a jump shot and he can't shoot a free throw.
And which brings me to my next point is the people who have the pipe dream of bringing in Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
You can't if you have Rondo.
That
you cannot.
Worst idea ever.
Because that leaves you with your two best players unable to touch the ball in the last 2 to 3 minutes of a game.
Right, because
in the last 2 minutes of a game.
For those of you who aren't following, neither one of them can shoot a free throw to save their lives.
When you shoot he's a career 62% free throw shooter.
Right, I can do that. I probably shoot better than 62%.
Career 60. Your point guard.
Yeah.
And I understand. Sure, fine. You can have Paul Pierce bring the ball up.
Yep.
But Paul Pierce isn't getting any younger.
No, he's not going to be around forever.
You need to do something, and right now the only piece they have is Rajon Rondo to trade.
Right.
And this Chris Paul deal would be brilliant.
Oh, that would be phenomenal.
Absolutely brilliant.
Because he's just as good as Rondo is at controlling the game, controlling the tempo, dishing the ball to where it needs to go. Plus, he can score the basketball.
When needed to, he scores.
Yeah. And that, I think that piece really could put the Celtics over the top, even with this short season with all the back-to-backs and the elderly people on the team. That could do it.
Exactly.
That could light a fire under him and get him going.
What will happen if Chris Paul were here is the fact that Chris Paul's scoring ability, you have to defend that. You can't sag off of Rondo and just play the big three and the other guys, and they have to. I don't want to say they have to work because Rondo does get them their shots.
Yeah.
But they can sag off Rondo, and then you're forcing him to beat you. Now, if you say Chris Paul's there instead, now you sag off Chris Paul, and he starts hitting a few jump shots.
Right.
Then those aren't lost possessions.
No.
So now you have to tighten up on Chris Paul,
which opens up everyone else.
Opens up the rest of the floor.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I just can't see how it's not a no-brainer. Too many people in Boston are in love with Rondo and don't want him going anywhere.
And I mean, people have great reasons to be in love with Rondo. He's a great basketball player. He's been great for the team. He won a championship with us, and he's done a great job as our point guard. But it's time to start looking towards the future.
Yeah.
It's time to start looking towards what happens when the big three are gone, when Paul's retired, when Ray Allen's retired, when KG's retired. Rondo runs a team of great players, and he's great at it. But he can't be your one. He can't ever be your Chris Paul. He can't be,
He can't be, in my opinion, he can't be your 1 or 2.
No.
I think he's a third option player that's a good point guard.
He's someone who makes the players around him so much better because of his ability to get them the ball where they need it.
Right.
But he's not the guy that's going to do the scoring for you. And if you don't score points, you don't win basketball games.
And also, he's very much, I think part of this love affair is he's very much a highlight reel player.
Yeah.
Because every game he's got a couple of those passes where you just fell back and said, wow, that was great. But, maybe you can call me old school. You can say I'm from the old school of basketball, where flashy doesn't. It's not huge for me. I just want, if you make the right pass at the right time, I don't care if it's a boring bounce pass.
Yeah, you get the ball to the person that needs the ball and you score.
And you score. I don't care.
That's all that needs to happen. That's how you win basketball games.
That's how the Spurs won championships.
Yep.
And they looked good
Nothing
doing
flashy about it.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like it's time to start rebuilding for the future.
Definitely.
And
if you can get Chris Paul, you take him.
Yep. And apparently they're pushing hard. Whether you can re-sign him or not, I think you take that risk because this year.
I agree.
This year, I think it legitimately, I believe, will push them up above the rest of the competition.
It certainly will.
And that's that.
Yep.
Bobby Valentine.
Do it.
There's no way to transition, but Bobby Valentine.
Yes.
Here he is. He's in Boston.
Yes.
I shouldn't have said here he is. It made it seem like he was coming, like he was here. He's not.
Oh.
He's not.
Oh.
But we asked you guys.
I know who my special guest might be if I run the show.
Don't ruin it. First of all, you're not winning the bet anyways.
Didn't say who it was.
You're not ruining the bet.
How did
I mean, you're not winning the bet, so it doesn't matter. But on a lighter note, we wanted to ask, is Bobby Valentine the right guy? He's the new Red Sox manager, and do you feel comfortable with him being the new Red Sox manager? And I think it was Paul again. He's a very loyal fan, this Paul.
Yes.
But Paul insinuates, I don't know, but you can have a lot of wordplay with his last name. And
prove it, Paul.
He's right. You can have a lot of fun with that last name. Like
prove it, Brian.
Some love and things like that. But here are the facts. Here's some facts on Bobby Valentine. 1,117 career wins. A .510 win percentage career as a manager. And he's managed the Texas Rangers, Mets, and 2 stints in Japan. He hasn't managed since his time in Japan back in 2009, and he hasn't managed in the majors since 2002.
That's a long time ago.
But in my opinion, I don't think he's a permanent. I don't think he's going to be a Terry Francona where he's here for years.
So
I don't think he's a permanent kind of replacement. But I think for right now, for what they needed for the end of that season,
it works.
I think it works.
Yeah.
And I want to go on the record as having said, on September 30th of this year, when Terry Francona was fired, I tweeted my early pick, Bobby Valentine. Guess who was right? This guy. And you want to know why I said that? I'll let everyone in on a secret. When the Red Sox collapsed, I was watching ESPN, and Bobby Valentine was on, analyzing the Red Sox collapse. And he said, you know what? Someone needs to look at these players and make them be accountable for their actions. And he said, they need to realize you can't do this. You can't have chicken and beer. And he doesn't play by many rules. There's only one rule he wants, and it's hustle and don't disrespect the team and what the team does. Why? What happened? What?
Don't do that. That hurts. Ouch.
How did you get that bucket?
I was going to put it on to find out if he was the right choice for manager, but then you pounded on my head like a like a pounder.
I apologize.
Ouch.
I can't wait to win that bet so there's no more hats.
I can't wait till I make you wear this bucket when I win the bet.
I'm not wearing that bucket.
If I run the show, you have no choice.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. So, you know where to find us: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Sports Chat, Sports Chat, Sports Chat. And that's that. That's your sports for the day. Busy sports day. I liked it.
Yeah, a lot of good talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if you're not down with that,
Then we've got 2 words for you. Sports Chat.